It is that time of the year that fashion capitals zalapha South Africa are hosting a fashion week. I'm talking about Johannesburg as well as Cape Town. The 12th, 13th, and 14th of March are when who and who's of the beauty and fashion industry are going to meet together and show us what's on trend this season. Welcome to it, everybody. This is Open Studio, and we're bringing you all the glitz and glam. We bring you the moon as well as the rain. My guest here is Epiphany. When you take a girl child to work, you get these results. Raine used to go on set with her mother, and one day a photographer needed her urgent assistant, and she quickly went onto it, and that's when she fell in love with the beauty and makeup industry. Welcome to Open Studio, Raine.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
Good. Very, very happy to be here.
2 decades in this industry is a very, very long time. How do you keep up? What made you push the passion and keep up with the trends?
So I think trends are something that are born backstage, which is where I absolutely love to be.
Yeah.
So I think it's almost unavoidable to see what's happening from a trend point of view backstage. But I love to kind of focus on what's happening internationally as well as locally, and really just put an African spin on what I see internationally.
Yeah, speaking of international, you went to Milan, you went to Paris, London Fashion Week, the works. What have you learned that side and you brought home?
So I think structure is probably the key thing. I think that Africa doesn't lack in creativity. We have such incredible talent here, but we have some challenges when it comes to sometimes budgets and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think structure and planning makes for a perfect show. And the more we plan, the better the result is going to be. So that's my key takeaway, is always structure.
Yeah, Gigi Hadid, world-renowned model, Cosmopolitan, Elle magazine, the works, they know your name. Which ones are your favorite? I'm talking models now, and I'm talking about these big magazines. Which ones are your favorite to have worked with?
Wow, I think the highlight of my career magazine-wise so far has been ID Magazine.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a little bit offbeat from a fashion point of view, which I really enjoy. Locally, I think I have a very close relationship with the associated magazines as well as Glamour, so it would be hard to choose between those locally, but definitely from an international point of view, ID Magazine.
And your favorite face to have touched?
Kaya Gerber,
Hey.
Cindy Crawford's daughter, and she is really just a little mini-me of Cindy. She is so beautiful. She needs almost no makeup, but I found myself just keeping on blending even though I didn't need to, because she was just so fantastic.
What sets you apart from every other makeup artist? Let alone that 2 decades. Not that, but what sets you apart?
I think that it's about having a point of view. There's a lot of makeup artists, a lot of people that kind of join the industry every single year. And I get asked on Instagram almost daily, how do I get to where you are in your career? And I often tell people, well, it's 18 years of hard work, but the point is also that it's about having your own kind of perspective on beauty, having an opinion, not being afraid to speak about that opinion. We have a lot of conversations happening in the beauty industry around diversity, about representation, all of those things. So it's about knowing where you stand on those points and making sure that you have a very kind of solid opinion from a makeup point of view, and that you're true to that.
Raine, let's take it back where it all began. Had it been for your mother taking you to work, do you think you'd be doing this today?
Absolutely not. I've always been interested in makeup and fashion in that industry, and my mom used to collect Vogue magazines, so I would always flip through those as my bedtime books. And my mom taking me to work from a very young age was absolutely a key part of like my development, development in this industry. And I owe her everything for it. But I think that it's also something that's quite interesting because you get to see what you're interested in. And I think that a lot of people go off and they study something, but they've never experienced it, so they have no idea if they really like that or not. So at least for me, I know, you know, that's what I really am into, and I'm sure.
What's the most ludicrous misconception that you've heard about a career in makeup? And how would you correct it and call it out as BS?
BS. I think often makeup artists are considered like a not serious profession, and it's looked down on from a point of view where somebody would prefer that their kid became a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. I think that there's a level of success that you can achieve in this industry that is absolutely equatable to those industries, and we're not dumb. I research, so I actually went to UCT and did 2 years of a BCom before realizing that was just not my vibe.
Yeah.
And I think that even though I am in a very creative industry, I put into that like a lot of, intelligent thought and conceptualizing, and a lot of creativity is not just like silly.
Yeah.
There's thought behind it and intelligence behind it. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Speaking of thought behind things, she does not fly solo. She's heading a team of very talented people, abasebenza kwi LMDA, who are going to be assisting her up at Gui Fashion Week. So make sure that you stick around. We're going to learn more about this endeavor. Keep it locked right here on Open Studio. You can dial us on 021-448-0448 or email us go openstudio@capetowntv.org if you've got a story to share with us. We'll see you after this quick commercial break. Don't go too far. One of South Africa's most sought after makeup artists, Raine, is here today, Africa Channel 263 on your DSTV Open Studio, Estela Gabanzingo, LMDA, as well as about the Africa Fashion Week. Well, Bessie Teta about how her career began and where she's been in the world. Now we're about to touch on LMDA and what it's all about. Raine, I want to find out, when did that begin and what prompted you to start with LMDA?
So it's pretty new. We started in July last year. I think for me, as an artist, what I was finding in terms of representation from agencies in South Africa, I just wasn't really getting what I needed from an agency. And when Alex and Ali, who are the MD and CEO of LMDA, approached me to come on board as a director of talent, I wanted to help create a place that both developed artists that are maybe not at a point where any other agency would sign them yet, as well as create the next wave of talent in this country, and then to give the level of customer service that artists who are being represented require. And I'm on both sides of that fence, so it's a really good place to be.
But how do you become a developed artist though? Because a lot of women walk out of their almost. Not a single woman walks out of their house without makeup on. They're not developed artists, but they are able to put on makeup.
So we're looking for artists mostly that have trained as makeup artists. I have taken on a few self-taught artists though, because I don't think that that is the only way that you can learn. I do, however, 90% of the time recommend that somebody studies makeup before coming on board. We get a lot of communication on email and on DM on Instagram where people are asking to become a part of what we're doing. And we look at every single one of those. And it's really important for me to have a team that is kind of drama-free, hardworking, and again, talking about diversity, we want to make sure that we are representing all the communities in Cape Town, Johannesburg, Port Elizabeth, Durban, especially people who maybe haven't had opportunities in the past. So we want to make sure that we are opening doors. And that's my kind of catchphrase for 2020.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about the partnership that you have with Africa Fashion International. Yeah. How did that begin?
So I used to work for another brand before LMDA, and I did Africa Fashion International's Fashion Weeks for the past 10 years. Yeah. So I had a really great long-standing relationship with them, and when I left the brand that I was at, it was one of the biggest things that I missed. I was, there's not a hell of a lot of fashion platforms in this country, and that was a big one. So the minute that other brand no longer supported AFI, I phoned them up and I said, hey, I want to do this. And they were like, okay, send us a website, send us everything. And I was like, LMDA was 3 months old at that moment, and I said, I don't have a website, I have nothing to show you, but it's me. You guys know me.
Yeah.
And they took a chance on that, and I hope they're not sorry. But it was so good to get back into that. I really missed the backstage, the rush, all of that. So it's a long-standing partnership between myself and AFI, and this is the second year that LMDA is supporting.
Yeah, you're a global artist, so what sets AFI apart from the other fashion weeks that you've attended and worked on around the globe?
So I think what's really interesting is we have got a lot of diversity in the countries that we are representing here in South Africa. So we've got designers coming in from Cambodia, from Paris, from New York, from Nigeria, from all over the world. There's even a showcase for Botswana talent. So it's a little bit more cosmopolitan in my opinion.
Right.
You know, in Paris Fashion Week, it's primarily brands that are based in Paris, and the same for London. Every now and again there's an exception to that, but this is lovely because it not only represents the continent of Africa, but people that are of African descent and African heritage, or just that resonate with Africa in other countries.
For sure. I know that you just dropped some countries. Now I want you to drop names. Who's going to be showcasing and what can people expect, those who will be attending?
Okay, so we're kicking this whole situation off with an extravaganza by Gavin Raja. I can't give too much away, but we are creating an individual makeup look for each one of his models.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to the fitting later today to kind of finalize which look goes with which girl and which garment. But I think it's a really impactful story. The whole concept of the show is, do we need more? And there's a lot of upcycling from previous garments going to happen, and it's going to be really, really interesting. We're also seeing Shana and Stefania Morland, so they each have their own label, but they're a mom and a daughter, which I think is a lovely story as well.
Yeah.
And it's always one of my favorite shows to work on as well. We are seeing Kahindo, which is a amazing designer from New York, and she's just the loveliest person. Imprint, locally, one of my absolute faves.
Love.
Zoo.
Yes.
We love King of Prints, right? And that's always an interesting show as well from a makeup point of view. There's always something really like graphic and gestural there. So very excited to see what that has in store. And then we will be ending the whole shebang off with Makosa. And that is also just, knitwear. That
Was it
guy,
last year when he showed in New York?
New York, I think he's showed in Paris as well.
Right.
He's got an amazing store in Tokyo. I think that we have so much incredible talent that is coming out of South Africa, and he's definitely one of the stars. So super exciting.
I'm getting a lot of names and people that are creative differently in their own right. They are very talented. Now, what's challenging when it comes to trying to come up with a face? Because not every face can look the same, because these are different designers who are speaking to different consumers.
Absolutely. So when a designer has their own show slot, it makes my life a little bit easier because I get one look and it's just for that one designer. However, sometimes we have designers sharing a show slot, which means I have around 3 to 4 minutes between the two designers to change things up a little bit. There is a limit to what I can do, unfortunately, but I think that what AFI does really well, and the producers, Dion Redman and them, do really, really well, is they pair the designers that sort of have a similar mood and feel together so that the changes can be fairly simple but impactful. So that's my biggest kind of challenge, is managing the, like as a designer, this is your baby, you have such a strong concept and an idea, and then you're sharing a show with someone else who has an equally strong idea. So it's about kind of managing the representation of both of those concepts. Yeah.
Now, how do you sustain makeup and beauty industry, upper fashion, and how do you put on a makeup or runway on a daily because you want to look as beautiful as the models? Raine is coming back with us and she's going to be sharing those stories with us. Between 5 and 5:30, we bring you Open Studio, where we take real people who have real stories that inspire the community to come and share those stories with you. Well, if you're one of those people, you can email us to openstudio@capetowntv.org or call us on 021-448-0448. My name is Llama, ladies and gentlemen, and I am your host. Not chilling alone, I'm with Raine. We're talking everything fashion, makeup, and beauty. Well, she's going to be working with Africa Fashion Week. She's partnered with the Africa Fashion International, and LMDA is doing wonders, working with abantu abaninzi that are well known with fashion industry. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations with everything that we've accomplished. And I'm hoping that everything that you desire comes your way, especially when you are giving back to people that want to learn from you. You've got a masterclass that's coming.
Yes, so on Saturday the 14th at 9:30 a.m. at the Convention Center, and you can buy tickets on web tickets from AFI's links or on my Instagram as well. I'm going to be doing a masterclass which is all around translating trends. So a lot of women are like, oh, I love that trend that's on the runway, but how do I wear that? Or how do I take inspiration from that? So my class is called Runway the Real Way, and this is really about inspiring women to play with a little bit of trends, but in a way that is completely suitable for whether you're going to be working in an office, sitting behind a desk, whether you're going to be running around from meetings, or whether you're in a slightly more creative industry and you want to flex the colorful muscles a little bit.
Cool stuff. So they're going to learn that and more.
Yes.
How long are these classes?
So this is a 2-hour class, and I'll be showcasing 4 to 5 trends that are really big at the moment based on international and local observations.
In a couple of months ago, the art industry was complaining that government is not intervening, and people are dying hungry because there's no support from that. Is the fashion and beauty industry suffering the same way, or they do not need assistance from the government anyhow?
I think that this is an industry that can really uplift communities, and I think that it's something that at the moment is a little bit unattainable. And it's interesting that you're speaking about empowerment, because one of our product sponsors, Avon, is very much around empowering women, you know, to like sell and create their own businesses. But I definitely do feel that there could be a lot more done by government in terms of developmental programs, in terms of making education accessible. At the moment, to study makeup, it's so expensive. And so we see that a lot of people are completely excluded off the bat from that, you know. So I would definitely say that it would be amazing to have City of Cape Town and local government being a little bit more involved in developmental programs. That being said, we have had, as LMDA, a few meetings with some local government organizations who are interested, and there are programs that are being put into place to develop the film industry in this country, as well as, you know, the like creative industries at large, which includes fashion, beauty, and all of those things. So hopefully something amazing comes of that.
Is that the only way to make this industry sustainable, or are there any other ideas that we can pull out of the hat?
So I think I feel very strongly about education as one of the key pillars to any industry becoming sustainable. It's, you know, I think from an economy point of view, there needs to be demand, and in order to create demand, it needs to be attractive to international clients. So what we found is we've obviously had some issues with regards to load shedding, with water shortages, with crime in this country, and we've had a few international clients just not want to come back for that reason. So, you know, if there's ways that we could find to make that more attractive to international clients. I know other countries subsidize in some ways to make the price point more affordable. So in Mexico at the moment, the government there is paying for flights and things like that for internationals who want to shoot there. So I think we could adopt something like that maybe as the same, or even our permits. Some of the permit costs in this country to shoot, I'm sure you know, are exorbitant. So it's, you know, it's another thing that maybe we could look at to kind of just drive sustainability.
Going back to Africa Fashion International, what excites you the most about this up-and-coming fashion week?
So I think for me, it's the second one that I'm doing with LMDA. The first one was kind of feeling it all out and figuring it out. And, you know, at the previous company, I had a very large team that did all of the logistics, and I just pitched up and did makeup. And now I'm a lot more involved in the behind the scenes. So Joburg Fashion Week last year was amazing and a rush, but I think I feel a little bit more secure in what we're doing. We're super glad to have Avon on board again from a product sponsorship point of view, because I think that also gives some stability to the situation. I know what product I'm working with, I know how it performs, I trust it, all of those things. So yeah, I'm just excited to flex some creative muscles, and I've got a really strong team as well. A lot of people who I haven't seen in a while, so I'm very excited for a backstage family reunion.
Sure, what's on trend this season?
From a makeup point of view?
Yep.
So I think that we are seeing a lot of focus on creativity and color. For the past 2 seasons, in fact, there's been this really big kind of leaning towards textural nuances and embellishment, glitter, bright colors, kind of festival-inspired makeup. And that's something you expect for summer. But as we're transitioning into sort of the autumn-winter inspiration, we're seeing that hasn't really gone away, which is really nice because it's very fun makeup. And we definitely loads of color for the season, and on the runway coming up, you're going to see lots of that. We're still also definitely, you know, every season we see a red lip and a variation of that, as well as a liner, black liner. Those are 2 classic trends that never go away. They just get kind of tweaked every season, so you'll be seeing a version of that as well. And then the other thing is skin. So, you know, every season we see like a flip-flop between something really glowy and dewy or really, really matte. And this season it's about kind of very real skin. So minimal product, it's perfect, precise placement, it's covering only what you need.
So it's a case of less is more?
Absolutely, especially with skin. And I feel like you can get away with so much more. If your skin looks like skin, you can go crazy with a bright lip or bright eyes and glitter everywhere because your skin looks real.
Speaking of less is more, behind that camera there's X, behind this one is Luzuko. At the control room it's Tsepo, and they are all guys. Can guys wear makeup?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked that question. It's something that I'm seeing so much more kind of mainstream these days, which is lovely. If you'd asked that question 5 years ago, somebody would have like run screaming from the room. But it's something that I'm seeing men becoming a little bit more comfortable with, which is great. And I'm not saying a red lip and a smoky eye. I'm saying, you know, concealing the odd little, you know, blemish, or a little bit of dark circles, or sometimes from shaving you get a little dark mark every now and again, you know, concealing that.
I hope you're not talking about me.
And taking a bit more care with skin. You only have one skin, you know? Yeah.
On another day, on another segment, we're going to pick X or Luzuko to be one of our
model.
pigs. Yeah.
Deal.
About this masterclass, where can they get the tickets, your social media details, stuff like that?
Okay, so my Instagram is at Raine Tauber, RAINE-TAUBER, and I will be posting pretty much a story every single day with a swipe up link to the web tickets address. But if you go onto web tickets, you'll be able to search for AFI and for the masterclass. It's on Saturday the 14th at 9:30 a.m. And then for LMDA, the Instagram is LMDA_ateliers, and that's where you can catch all of the backstage action happening as well.
Sure. Otherwise, the Fashion Week is running through 12th, 13th, and the 14th. Make sure that if you love fashion, you breathe, you eat, you sleep, you dream fashion, you head up on there and see her styles and what she does with the models. Thank you for choosing us as your source of talk. This is Open Studio. She's Raine. My name is Llama, and we're signing out. Good night and God bless.